Good day. Welcome to a new Tip Tuesday by IndySoft. My name is Stephanie, and today I'm going to showcase how we can include the calibration frequency and interval onto a work order report. First, I'd like to showcase the work order report that is provided by standard by IndySoft. And as you can see here on my equipment, I have no frequency or interval listed on the work order report. So first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to right click on the work order itself and make sure to use the work order when designing in Print Builder. This will allow me to flip between preview and detail or design tab, so I can test and make sure that my report is working as intended. I'm going to select the Administration tab and open my Print Builder, which I actually have open. So on my work order page, I actually have a report created specifically for this one. If you wish to create a new report, you can select the plus sign. You can load it from a file, utilize an existing work order report to copy from, so aesthetically it would look the same, or just create a new blank report. I'm going to double click on this report and I'm going to go over to my work order line details. Now, as you can see, I have a cal frequency and interval table or header, and I've included a label, and I'm going to showcase how this can be added. So in the top left corner, you're going to see the A type button. We're going to simply select that and click with inside this box. As you can see, the label 1 has been created, but it's a little off center to the unit. If I hold down Control and the arrows, I can move that field incrementally up and down to the side. If I hold down Shift and move the arrows, I'll make the field wider and more narrow. So now it's in a position I agree with more, and it's in line with the rest of the unit information. So now that I have this label, now say for instance you are creating a work order report and you create a label, you do want to keep in mind the number sign that is appearing next to that labeled name, because it'll be very important when we switch over to the calculation tab to make sure that we're pointing to the right field. Now, as you can see, I am on sub-report for work order items, and I am in the detail section. So now when I switch over to my calculation tab, I want to make sure that, again, I'm in the sub-report for work order items. And I'm going to scroll down until I hit detail. Now, if the field is green, it means I have calculations in this area. I can simply right click and go to module to select these calculation reports or SQL scripting. But in this case, I'm going to switch back to events, go to detail, and I'm going to select the before print option. Now, I have the calculation in here already, but I am going to go over how this was built. As you can see, I have a begin, and you want to make sure that you are selecting the detail tab and detail before print. And as you can see, I have a do SQL records, so I want it to pull in information. And if you go over to different items here on language, you can see there is a plethora to choose from. So you can see here is my TD do SQL records. And first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to put in a numeric value, as the TD do SQL records is a data set. So you can apply multiple items to this same SQL lining. And in this case, I'm going to put in a 1 and then a comma. And now I'm going to start actually pulling in the information that I require from this report. I'm going to do a select schedule frequency. So that is the field I'm looking for in SQL. schedule interval from the SchedGI, and SchedGI is the table in which these fields reside under. Where gauge serial number, which is the unit ID, and then I'm going to switch over back to data, and I want to make sure I select work order line items, because this is where the unit information that is on the report is selected. Now, if I switch back over to my design table, a good example is when I select the gauge ID from my design tab, you can see that it's coming through my work order line items ID. So now I know what data tree to select when I want to pull in the unit information. So I'm going to include the ID and the company. And what I specifically have chosen is a specific schedule type. So I want to make sure that only my calibration schedule type comes through on the work order. Now that I've filled in that SQL statement, I can apply that information to label 1. So if I go back over to Objects and I scroll down to my detail section, this is my field, label 1. And as you can see here, there is again a plethora of options to select from, but specifically I want to pull the string name of caption. So label 1.caption, and I want a field by name as string. Since the schedule frequency is a numeric field, I need to do a conversion so it comes through as a string, so the frequency and the interval can be concatenated into the same field. So the first thing that I need to do for schedule frequency as I build for label 1 is convert it to a string and then combine it with the schedule interval. So as you can see here, label 1.caption, I have a field name as string for the schedule frequency, plus a space, and then a name as string for schedule interval. So now I have the label 1 caption saying, please pull in the frequency and the interval based on the information that was found above. If I right click and select compile, I can then ensure that I have 0 errors. And as you can see here, let me move my image here. You can see there are 0 errors there. When I go back over, I can see my label 1 is in my cal frequency. And because I did a preview of the work order before I began this, when I select preview, now we can see that in my work order report, I have the cal frequency and the interval listing on these units. If you found this video helpful or useful in any sense, be sure to press that like button. If you'd like to see more content by IndySoft, be sure to press the subscribe button. And if you have any questions at all, be sure to reach out to support@indysoft.com. I hope you have a great day and a great evening. Good night.